Hey everybody, welcome back to Build a Website from Scratch with HTML and CSS. This video is called Nav, Section, and Article. In this lecture, we are going to learn about the HTML5 elements, nav, section, and article. So open up your code editor. Create a new file called nav-section-article.html in your Lesson 4 folder. Open it up and do what you know you got to do. Add your doc type in your basic page, add the title, nav, section, and article. Alright, in your body content, let's start with the HTML5 nav tag. It looks like this. So the nav tag, I would imagine, is fairly self-explanatory if you have any sort of basic idea of how websites work. You have a navigation bar usually at the top of your web page or in the footer or somewhere along the left or right sidebars. You have a navigation, and it's usually a list of links that you can click to navigate through your website. So the nav tag is just a more semantic way of coding an HTML navigation bar. So this is how you would do it. You just add a nav tag, and within there you would just put an unordered list and then some list items. And in the list items you obviously want to have some links. So you would put an A tag. And so let's say the first link is going to be header ampersand footer. And we're going to want to link that to our header-footer.html page. Let's copy this and paste it 2 more times. Then let's change the second one to ids-classes.html, and let's change the text of the link to ids-classes. And the third one will be span-div.html, and the text will obviously change to span-div. So if you save that and check it out in your browser, you'll have a navigation menu with header, footer, IDs, classes, span, and div. It doesn't look much different if you just put a normal UL, but it's more semantic and it makes more sense and it adds more meaning to the HTML document, because we know that HTML is all about meaning. So hopefully that's starting to make a little bit more sense when I say HTML is meant for the meaning of the document. Okay, so the next thing we're going to learn about is the HTML article and section tags. Those are HTML5 tags as well. And let's start by coding an HTML5 article tag. So it looks like this, and it's another fairly self-explanatory tag. It's basically where you would put article content. So a great example is a blog. If you have a blog, you're going to be writing blog posts. They're also called articles. That's where you could put your blog posts within an article tag. You could just use a div like we learned in a previous lecture, but using the article tag is more semantic. It makes more sense. It adds more meaning to the HTML document. And you can put any sort of content in here. So you could say this is a blog post, and then if you save that and check it out, you just have some text here, and it's within an article tag. But you would use article in conjunction with the section tag. They kind of they can go together, and it works quite nicely. So you can section your article, because obviously there are sections to your article. So let's say section, and this will be a section. So let's say we'll put a level 1 heading and say a blog post heading. So this section is where the article heading will go. But we could take this one step further and utilize our knowledge of classes. So let's add a class to this article and say blog-post. So we know that this article has the class of blog post. It has even more meaning, and then we can select this in CSS and add some style to it later. Let's take this even further and add a class to this section. So instead of just having just a section tag, let's give it a little bit more meaning and add the class of post heading. So this, we know this section is the post heading of the blog post. Let's add another section tag, and let's give this one the class of post-body. And then let's add a paragraph tag with just some text in here. This is the body of our blog post. Let's add another section tag, and this section tag will have the class of post footer. So you can see your article has a heading, a body, and a footer. A pretty typical structure for a blog post or any sort of article that you'd publish on the internet. In the footer, let's put a level 3 heading. And let's say, read more about this topic. And let's put an ordered list. And we'll just copy and paste these list items right here. And it's going to tab this in so they look nice and neat. So we have our heading, body, and footer. So let's save it and check it out in our browser. So we have our navigation menu up here. We have a blog post, and we have the heading of the blog post, the body of the blog post, and the footer of the blog post, which has an ordered list of links. So that's basically how you would use the HTML5 nav article and section tags. Hopefully that was useful and it makes a bit of sense, and you get a little bit more about HTML now, and we're going to keep going and dive a little further into HTML in the next lecture. So I'll see you there.